Because of that, Islam deserves some maybe pound for pound number one rankings.
He's already the pound for pound number one rank.
But is he yours?
Yeah.
Islam Makhachev's reign as the lightweight champion of the UFC has been nothing short of remarkable. Over the weekend, he retained his title in dominant fashion, defending his belt against last-minute replacement opponent Renato Moicano at UFC 311. This victory, however, has sparked debate and garnered immense praise from the MMA community, with many asserting that Makhachev's accomplishments elevate him to pound-for-pound number one status in the sport. But does Islam Makhachev truly deserve this recognition? The answer for many is a resounding yes. To understand why Makhachev's place in the pound-for-pound discussion is so well-deserved, we need to take a closer look at his performance, not just in his latest victory, but across his entire career. Islam Makhachev has been one of the most dominant and consistent fighters in the UFC, steadily climbing through the ranks with a mix of unrelenting pressure, an almost flawless fight IQ, and an ability to finish his opponents in the most decisive ways. What impressed the MMA community most about Makhachev's victory against Moicano was the fact that he took the fight on extremely short notice. Just days before the fight, it was announced that Arman Tsarukyan, who was originally scheduled to face Makhachev for the lightweight title, had to pull out due to a back injury. This left the UFC with a serious problem: find a replacement for Tsarukyan and do so quickly. The UFC's solution came in the form of Renato Moicano, a talented but less renowned fighter who was already on the card but hadn't been slated to face Makhachev. Despite the short notice, Makhachev accepted the fight without hesitation, proving his willingness to face any challenge, regardless of timing. This willingness to step up and fight on short notice speaks volumes about Makhachev's mindset as a champion. It's a trait that, in many ways, sets him apart from other fighters who may hesitate or even turn down opportunities for various reasons. Take, for instance, Jon Jones, widely considered one of the greatest fighters in UFC history. Back in 2012, Jones famously turned down a fight with Chael Sonnen on short notice, citing a lack of preparation time. Makhachev, however, accepted his short-notice fight against Moicano with no hesitation, showing the kind of champion's mentality that is rare in modern MMA. This is not the first time Makhachev has displayed his willingness to fight anyone anywhere. Last year, Makhachev stepped in on short notice to face Alexander Volkanovski, one of the top fighters in the world, in a bout that was considered an unofficial fight of the year. Despite the odds being against him, Makhachev fought his heart out and was able to secure the victory. It's this kind of tenacity that makes him a fan favorite and adds weight to his argument as the pound-for-pound number one fighter. Another impressive aspect of Makhachev's career is his ability to finish fights. 8 of his last 9 victories have come via finish, a stark contrast to the grappling heavy style of his mentor, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib, while dominating in his own right, often relied on his wrestling to control his opponents for the entire length of the fight. Makhachev, on the other hand, has a more aggressive approach to finishing his opponents, which makes him an exciting fighter to watch. The moment Makhachev locks in his signature Darce choke, it's almost a foregone conclusion that the fight will end soon after. He doesn't just control, he finishes. In fact, Makhachev's finishing ability was on full display in his recent victory over Moicano. The fight ended in the first round as Makhachev locked in a Darce choke that left Moicano with no option but to tap out. This was not an anomaly either. Makhachev's ability to finish fights has been consistent, with his previous fight against Dustin Poirier in June also ending in a Darce choke victory. The fact that Makhachev can win so decisively in such a short amount of time is a testament to his skill and dominance in the division. However, Makhachev's style is not one of pure dominance for the sake of control. He actively seeks finishes, and when he does get into a position to submit or stop his opponent, he does not waste the opportunity. This is something that sets him apart from many of his contemporaries in the UFC, who sometimes are content to grind out decisions. Makhachev's fighting style has the same kind of effectiveness as Khabib's, but with an added flair for dramatic finishes. While Makhachev's fight against Moicano was a one-sided affair, it wasn't without its challenges. At one point in the fight, Moicano briefly stunned Makhachev with a punch, making it clear that the Brazilian wasn't there just to be a stepping stone. Despite this, Makhachev showed his resilience and quickly recovered, continuing his assault until he was able to lock in the submission. This resilience and his ability to shake off any adversity are what make Makhachev such a dangerous champion. After the fight, there was no shortage of reactions from fans and fellow fighters alike. Charles Oliveira, the former lightweight champion, declared that he is next in line for the title shot, signaling his intent to face Makhachev in what would undoubtedly be one of the biggest fights in lightweight history. On the other hand, former bantamweight champion Henry Cejudo suggested that Makhachev should move up to welterweight and attempt to become a double champion. The challenge of moving up in weight and conquering another division is something that has become increasingly popular in the UFC, and many believe Makhachev is capable of such an accomplishment. In fact, Makhachev's ability to finish fights and his all-around skill set have led many analysts to argue that he deserves a spot at the top of the pound-for-pound rankings. His last 9 fights have been nothing short of spectacular, with his only decision being a razor-close contest against Volkanovski, which many considered one of the greatest fights in UFC history. But even in that decision, Makhachev showcased his skill and toughness, proving he can go the distance with one of the best in the world. While Makhachev's victory over Moicano was dominant, it also served to further fuel the conversation about the next challengers for his title. Fighters like Arman Tsarukyan, who was originally supposed to face Makhachev, continue to linger in the wings, hoping to earn another shot at the champion. Tsarukyan, a rising star in the lightweight division, has the tools to give Makhachev a competitive fight, and many fans were disappointed when his injury forced him to pull out of UFC 311. However, this might not be the last time we see the two fighters square off. After Moicano's loss, he seemed undeterred and already eyeing the next opportunity. He expressed his desire to move forward with a title shot, with his manager posting a video of him training hard for future fights. Moicano's confidence in his abilities is admirable, and his performance in stepping in on short notice showed the heart of a true competitor. Although the UFC has yet to confirm his next steps, it's clear that Moicano will remain a key figure in the lightweight division for years to come. The UFC's lightweight division continues to be one of the most exciting in the world, and Islam Makhachev remains at the top, firmly entrenched as its champion. His ability to finish fights, his adaptability to any challenge, and his no-nonsense approach to taking on opponents, regardless of when or where, have made him one of the most respected and feared figures in MMA today. As for the future, it seems that Makhachev has a long reign ahead of him. While many are calling for his next fight to be against Tsarukyan, others are clamoring for a showdown with Oliveira or even a move to welterweight to challenge the likes of Kamaru Usman. Regardless of where his career goes from here, one thing is certain: Islam Makhachev is one of the best fighters in the world today, and he is showing no signs of slowing down. In conclusion, Islam Makhachev's victory over Renato Moicano at UFC 311 only further cements his place as one of the most dominant fighters in the sport. His ability to take short-notice fights, finish opponents with ease, and continue to impress fans and analysts alike makes him deserving of the pound-for-pound title. With a future filled with potential matchups against some of the best fighters in the world, Makhachev's reign at the top is far from over.